Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me for another video today. Today we are talking with another Highfield team, and today we are talking with, do you go by Chris or Christopher?
Chris.
Chris, and we also have Cristy. So thank you so much for joining me today and doing this quick little interview. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Jerry.
Yes.
Absolutely, my pleasure. So just to give everyone a quick little rundown, a little bit about your backgrounds, you want to tell us, did you previously come from a trucking industry or are you brand new to trucking? Just tell our viewers a little bit about yourselves.
So, my dad was a truck driver. Christy's dad was a bus driver.
Okay.
Neither one of us have driven truck before. We actually come from the gig economy, doing some Uber and Lyft. And then after the pandemic, we started delivering food with DoorDash and Grubhub. From our car, hurting the bottom dollar. Actually drove a tow truck for 6 or 7 years. I drove a taxi for 6 or 7 years. Christy comes from serving.
Mm-hmm.
That's how she got into the Uber. One of her customers was telling her she was getting an Uber, and she said, "Well, that's kind of odd that you're calling your girlfriend an Uber." She says, "No,
I had no idea what an Uber was.
that was back when Uber was first getting started a few years back." So
Gotcha.
we decided to get out of that. Came in a little bit of money, made the investment to go to school. Spent 10-4, trucking 10-4 on our schooling. It's gone up. It's not cheap, but it's definitely worth the investment. Making a whole lot more money now than we were last year.
And we're traveling. We couldn't travel before.
Yeah, I
Good
definitely
service.
understand that. Okay, awesome. So how did you hear about Highfield Trucking?
During COVID, we started watching videos, and Chris came across some kind of trucking video or something. And this leads you to another video, leads you to another video. And I
Down that
feel like
rabbit
at
hole.
first,
Down the rabbit hole, exactly.
yeah, yes, and you can stay awake for hours doing that. I think the first couple he came across was it. Tell me his name. I always forget his name. I know we saw Nick and Carla.
Okay.
That led us to Nick and Carla.
You're thinking Steve from the Real Truck Company.
Steve from the Real Trucker. The first video I remember of him, he was like, when we first started, there was another team called the Trucking Couple, but now we're the Real Trucking Couple. That's the first video I remember seeing of Highfield Trucking.
Awesome. Did you ever see any of the Expedited Boogie?
We did.
Yes, we saw you.
Me as well. So a buddy of mine, when I was driving tow truck, him and my other buddy, they left and best friends. They went to work for Panther, for a fleet
Okay.
owner. They did that for a little while, but they came off the road for their families. So I was aware of I mean, we live in Florida. There's not a whole lot of the expedite trucks in and out of Florida.
Hmm.
But I did hear about it through them. And then we did some research on the YouTube, basically during COVID. So I'm doing nothing, have all the time in the world to research stock market things. And
We got into trucking and stock market and a bunch of mukbangs, which were so bad.
I watch those sometimes myself.
They're kind of crazy, right?
Yes, I agree.
yeah, with,
Alright.
we got Nick and Carla, the Real Trucking Couple, Truck and Travel,
Luke
Shire Expediting Ventures.
I almost like Trixie Chicks, but I don't take the expedite chicks. I'm old.
Kelly and Delina Expedite Chicks.
Yeah,
I'm sure they wouldn't mind being called the Dixie Chicks.
right?
They are from the South, so
Right.
The South is great.
awesome. Yeah, we have so many YouTube channels that are out there, especially, trying to talk about Highfield. That's definitely a platform that we're very proud of. So I'm glad to hear that you found us through that avenue.
And it was like, we saw a few videos. We started figuring out where we were going to go to school. Ended up going to school. And literally the day I graduated from school, Delina called because we had put in a thing. I was like, I'm graduating today. And they were like, oh, that's great. And it was like, I seriously felt like it was Monday. And by the next Monday, we were in a truck.
Some things are just meant to be.
It was just kind of quick.
That's
But it
awesome.
was meant to be that way. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Speaking of talking to Delina and getting started and everything, so during the recruiting and onboarding process, what advice would you give to new contractors that are thinking about coming into this industry?
Don't bring dogs. Just kidding. Just kidding. I love my babies. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Would definitely think that you would want to do plenty of research. Make sure it's something that you want to do. Mentor program to where say they're going to hold your hand, but they will walk you through things. Cristy and I came up. We rented a Penske van, loaded up a bunch of stuff, came to Ohio, picked up the truck. Thought that we were going to end up renting a storage unit before we got on the road, but we somehow got everything in the truck.
He kept telling me all the way up, and all the entire time I was packing, we had an extra room in the house, so I started taking stuff in there that we were taking with us to put on the truck.
Right.
And he's like, "We're gonna have to throw half of this away, or I'm gonna have to get a storage unit, or we're gonna have to ship it home." I'm like, "No, I promise, it's all gonna fit." Did it fit?
Fit.
You know why it fit? Because I watched the Expedited chicks. And I
Okay.
realized and I paid attention to every little area that you had and how much you could possibly. I had a little bit too much, but those videos were very helpful in us preparing for what we were getting ready to get into.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know
Pretty good.
when I first started, I think I brought everything. I had no clue what I needed, and I probably had everything, including the kitchen sink. Like,
That was us.
it was a lot. And I know the first time I went home, I had to unload so much stuff because I just had way too much crap out there.
I've sent 2 boxes home since we've been on the road. We went home one time and I unloaded a few bags, like suitcases of
Swapped
stuff.
out.
Swapped out winter for summer, because even when you're on the road, you're buying stuff.
Yeah.
And when we did our truck move, I had no idea how much stuff we had on this truck. It's a lot.
Yeah, you can accumulate a lot while you're out there. And boy, whenever you have to switch trucks, you find out just how much stuff you have.
The truck we started in had plenty of space.
Yes, it did.
Everything that we had.
Yeah.
And we have downsized a little bit since then. 7 months now. 8 months.
8.
8 months now. We recently were able to upgrade into our bathroom, toilet, shower tub.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And at that time, we realized how much stuff we had on the truck. Because the shower truck, it seems to have a little bit less storage. Even though it's a bigger sleeper, it's a little bit longer. The cabinet space and stuff, it's a different setup.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the space than the storage, though.
Had to minimize again.
Yeah.
Minimize.
I got in here and I looked. I was like, I don't think everything should fit. He was like, sure it will. Rid of a lot.
So be mindful.
Yeah, be mindful of that.
Stuff you need for sure, stuff you want.
Right.
Some people are going to fly up. They're not going to have a van full of stuff or a truck full of stuff. You may be able to get the truck home in
Stop.
a couple weeks or a month.
Chloe, stop biting, please.
Stuff left behind.
Okay.
Figure out
Girl.
exactly what space you have, what you can. It's going to work for you.
And everybody wants a bathroom truck, but a lot of people just don't realize just how much room those bathrooms take up.
They do.
It takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
I love having a shower on the truck, and that's cool. But if I wanted more stuff, I would definitely stick with the other truck. But I like the shower.
Yeah.
Plus, when you work for something and you upgrade, you're happy about it. It makes you feel good,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. We've had teams in the past that they've worked really hard, just like you guys. They became eligible for a bathroom truck, and they were quick to say, nope, I'm not ready to give up the extra storage. I don't want to deal with it, because you do lose a lot of
Right.
storage. But
Yeah.
I also definitely see your side too, because I enjoyed having the bathroom. It was nice.
Yeah, it's nice, especially from a girl who, if she continues drinking, she pees like every hour. Sorry. I
Well, that
like
is-
to stay hydrated. We
Hey,
drink
there
a
you
lot.
go.
Yeah, we drink a lot.
That's very
I do know
important.
that
So
trucking school is costly, but coming out here, We might be set back a couple, 3 weeks on a paycheck. It's like starting a new job. You go to,
Right.
pick up a few things that you do want or need from the truck and
Right.
be able to feed yourself until you get your first check and start making money. Well, your money starts rolling in. You'll be fine.
We were pretty lucky to have a little bit of money to come out here and be able to do it. That is one thing that you need some savings to come out
Yeah.
here, because you're gonna wait 3 weeks to get your first check, but then once you get it, you make your school money back. You make the money saved that you spent to come out. It's definitely worth it.
I look at it like the old saying goes, it takes money to make money. So
Yes.
investment for the schooling, some people are always going to have CDL before they come on. But for us, we really went to school. And
That's awesome. And you're absolutely right on that. It does take money to make money. You gotta start somewhere. Yeah. It's an investment. It's an investment in the future for sure.
Yes.
Well, that's great. So speaking of the orientation process and all of that, so how would you classify truck orientation on move-in day, and would there be anything that Highfield could have done to make you more prepared?
I think that orientation day, move-in day, Vince and Melissa did a very good job showing us the truck and going over everything. So,
Mel, not Vince. Vince wasn't.
Mel and Vince. They did a great job. They showed us like the APU and the, like, we don't come from an RV background. These trucks show like a small RV. Those
Yeah.
are things on the truck that are stuff that we weren't familiar with, and we had to learn how to use. We've got AC and the DirecTV satellite, free of charge. That's a nice perk being out here. If you do get some downtime, just want to sit back and watch it.
That's a big hit with a lot of the drivers.
It's nice to have. Mel did a great job though, both times.
That's great to hear.
Yes, when we switched trucks. We went from I think we had a Carrier,
Which was a little different.
completely different.
Yep.
We had to ask for a little guidance there as well.
Well, that's
People
great
need
to
do
hear.
Research. People need to research first. Get yourself familiar with the trucks, how it works, what expediting is, what team driving is. Because if you prepare yourself, you can take it in a lot better once you get to the location to get your truck and they're explaining things to you. And then once you get on the road, you start talking to your mentors, you're not completely in the dark of what they're talking about. You can kind of understand what they're trying to explain to you and how you're going to make it through. So research is very important.
I like that. That's very, very true. That's something that, Vince and Melissa always say, do your research, find out everything that you're kind of going into and get the basics before you really get out there.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
we were prepared. And I would say probably within the first 2 or 3 weeks, I would have been ready to leave working. Be like, no, but I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. This is too much. And I'd be done. But because I prepared myself, I was like, I know what I'm in for. And I just have to have an open mind and know that sometimes we're going to sit around and sometimes we're going to just be going back and forth, back and forth. So you just have to be prepared. And you really have to kind of at least 90% like the person you're in the truck with. Right?
Yes.
If you don't, 911's going to be called. So that's important too.
I like to say at least 60-40, because the back half of the bunk and sleeper is like
60%.
is the 40.
Okay, we'll go with
So,
that.
if there ever is an issue and then you have to kind of step away, at home you can go into another room, you can go outside.
Slam a door.
Can't really do that out here. You can grab a bag of laundry and go do laundry for an hour or two, take the dogs over to the dog park for a little bit, or just step into the other room. Go sit in the front seat, the cab, and
Close the curtain, and you can turn your volume up in that little room up there, and I'm going to turn my volume up on the TV, and let's just not talk for a little bit.
there can be trials and tribulations, but for the most part,
Yeah.
you definitely want to be with somebody you get along with, whether that's, your spouse or your brother, sister,
Yeah.
good best friend, or whoever you decide to team up with. Come on out.
Definitely important.
Very, very good advice. I wholeheartedly agree with you, because that is a tight 10 by 10 area and you're together 24/7. And a lot of people just don't realize, I don't know how some do it. They'll come out a complete stranger, one, just dealing with sleeping behind somebody and not knowing that person, and two, the whole of not knowing their routine and like what they eat and what they do and their personal hygiene and all that stuff. Like you got to really
Right.
consider everything because you're in very, very tight quarters.
Yes. Yeah.
This is much bigger than the factory sleepers for sure.
Yeah,
We would have never, yeah, we would have never made it in a regular semi truck.
I
Never in
agree.
that space. We would have already been broke up. If you take your dog, I'm taking mine. Hasta la vista. I'm out. Done. For sure. This is the
That
way to go if you're a couple and you want to be together and spend time together and travel and make some money and see places that you would never have the opportunity to go to before. Definitely something to look into if people are interested in that type of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for
And
saying
Highfield
that.
would be the way to go. Highfield, the people here have been so nice, so caring, so giving. They want you to get educated. They want you to know what you're doing. They want you to succeed. Our mentors, the best. They want us to succeed. They want us to make the money. They want us to see different places, to learn what we're doing in expediting. If you have a problem, and not that you can never get a hold of your mentors, but if you do have a problem, you can call somebody like Kelly or Mel or anyone and ask them. And they're like, give me just a second, I'll help you on that. That's really important to have because if you don't have somebody out here to have your back, you're lost. And with Highfield, everybody in Highfield has your back. Even other drivers that drive the trucks have your back. They want you to succeed and they'll help you and answer questions. So it's really important to have that kind of, what would you call it? Something like that around you when you make this decision to come out here, because I can see how some people don't make it,
I think you
it's
hit the
important.
nail on the head. You're absolutely correct. Especially all the staff, we do our best to help any way that we can. You know,
Yeah.
almost all of the staff has been in a truck at some point in time. We know exactly what you're dealing with on a
Right.
day-to-day basis. And even like you said, if you're unable to reach your mentor or something, there's always someone on staff that you can call and get an answer to something. And speak of the mentor program, by chance, who was your mentor?
Tim and Melissa.
They're so
We
great.
Yes, absolutely. Tim
Yeah.
and Melissa are absolutely wonderful people, and
Mhm.
very, very they've learned the business and they have embraced the lifestyle wholeheartedly and 100%.
Yes,
Um,
they have.
yeah, like they've done things that I would never even dream of. Like I was always just exhausted from running or something, and I mean. It's crazy the places that they go and the things that they see and do, and yet they're still
Right.
able to hit the numbers that they hit. It's absolutely amazing.
Yes. We
So
want to
you
be just
had,
like them.
well, it sounds like you're on your way. I mean, you're already in a bathroom truck. And to be 7, 8 months in, you're definitely on your way. So
Yeah. But that's because of them and because we listened and we did the best to grasp what they were talking about so that we could
yeah,
make it. Because nobody wants to come out or at anything and fail at what you're doing. And not so much fail,
yeah,
but not quite get it or understand it and be like, and then you walk away from it and you're like, I got it.
The light bulb goes off.
But you don't want to do that. So we kept working and I'm, we could call them at 2 o'clock in the morning. What's up? Because we knew who was driving, who was up. We'd call them. No problems, not putting us on hold, not telling us, well, let me call you back. They were right there to listen, to answer the questions, to talk to us, walk us through anything. So it's really important for new teams that decide to do this to come on to enjoy the mentor program and don't take it as an insult, as if, well, I know what I'm doing. No, you
yeah,
really don't. You really do need the mentors to get through this type of job.
Yeah,
And it's not even a job, really. We feel like we're blessed, like we're traveling. We have to stop somewhere and have something put in the truck, drive somewhere, have it taken off the truck, and then we can do whatever we want. I don't feel like that's working. That's a lifestyle, and we're enjoying it.
very well said.
definitely embrace it. You have to have them. Um, you could be driving a truck driver for 50 years, come out here. Expediting is a whole different animal. You know, truck drivers make their money mile by mile, paid by the mile. Some are salary and different things,
Right.
depending on the circumstance. But in expediting, it's more of a revenue thing. You're making a
Yep.
percentage of that revenue. You are looking for dollars to mile, but you're not looking for getting paid by the mile. You know, team drivers, you're both constantly manage more money than, say, a solo truck driver. Uh, Definitely take advantage of the mentor program. They are the answer. If you stump them and you challenge them, they'll call their mentors.
Yeah.
That's the great thing. Even though we've graduated,
Yeah.
they'll reach out to us. We can reach out to them anytime we need help.
Right.
It's just a one.
We try to tell everyone here at Highfield that we hear it all the time from the mentors. The mentors are always saying they want their mentees to call them 24/7. Don't hesitate. Pick up that phone, because usually it only takes a 2-minute phone call and they can get you right back on the road and get you
Right.
moving and making that money. So it's very nice to actually hear from you guys that you're living exactly what they say. They want you to call. They want you to always stay in touch, and they want to help guide you as much as possible, because not only do we want to see Highfield succeed, but we want you guys to succeed because you are running your business.
Right. We definitely have been pretty successful so far.
I
It's
think for
awesome.
me, I like the fact that, you know, coming from the gig economy world that we were working in, we didn't have to punch a clock or answer to anybody really, so to speak. If you would turn the app on, you go to work for a few hours, you make as much money as you wanted to make. It was very non-structured, so to speak. Same thing here. There's no forced dispatch, so we can kind of, you know, you can run 3 or 4 big runs for the month, or you can really, if you're feeling froggy, you can get out there and hustle and run, you know, 10, 12 runs and try to make that FedEx bonus, you know, and
Right.
the Highfield bonus, you know, hit that revenue. And so it,
Which we have, I think, 7 out of the 8 months. 6 out of the 8.
of 8,
Yeah.
6 of 8 months so far.
Last month was really bad. July was really bad.
Summertime, truck repairs, we had a few, you know, they're mechanical, they're going to break. You can't, I mean, we're not upset with Highfield for that. You can't
No,
that
it's a machine. It's gonna break.
mechanical maintenance and repairs
Right.
and things happen.
Chloe, please stop.
Slower
No,
anyway,
leave it.
so it wasn't a real setback, but we didn't quite make the revenue like we wanted. Our first month out,
December.
it's hard to hit the revenues that month.
Right. You know, historically in expediting, usually July is usually a slow month to begin with. So
Sorry.
It happened.
Our dog is chewing something. Chloe, stop. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
no, you're fine.
This is the life of the road. Can't go into the room.
Unconventional things happen in this business. We've learned.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of roll with punches, go with the flow.
Yeah. But it's
So
been
here at
working so far.
Highfield, that's awesome. So we do also love our 4-legged friends. So do you want to tell everybody your 4-legged friends' names?
So she's Cristy, I'm Chris. The little one's Charlie, and the big one's Chloe.
Yes.
Oh, you met the dog. It's not my dog. I got you. My fault. Charlie. Say hi, Charlie. He's like, I don't think so. Charlie and Chloe. Charlie's a Pomsky, 50-50 Pomeranian and Husky. And Chloe, we actually got her at a truck stop in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yep.
We had Charlie out here for a
Oh.
few months. We decided that Chloe needed a friend. I mean, Charlie needed a friend because he has a little bit separation anxiety. So if we go into the truck stop, take a shower, or we jump out of the truck to grab a bite to eat for a couple hours, he got real upset, but stand in the window and stare. So
And he would
Aw.
cry and cry. So we just stopped going off the truck or taking him with us.
So we had talked about finding him a friend and thought about going to a shelter up in the world, you know, finding a friend for him, something small for the truck. I happened to be out on the truck stop in Fort Worth walking Charlie. A lady trucker was walking with Chloe.
Y'all playing
She
too.
got talking and she says, "Oh, your dog is so beautiful. It's not together." And she says, you know, you tell she was going through a hard time. She just wasn't. You tell Chloe didn't have a bunch of weight on her. She was kind of skinny, and the young lady was saying that the price of dog food and vet bills were going up and things. She just didn't know that she could handle taking care of Chloe anymore. she asked if we would be kind enough to take her off of her hands, and I just was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe she's such a pretty dog. She's so well behaved. She's a lot
Oh,
bigger than we expected. You know, we were thinking maybe a pug, which
Yeah,
would be
but
awesome.
she wasn't this big when we first
We
got
definitely
her.
put some weight on.
We definitely put some weight on her. She's starting to grow. I feel like she was a little neglected, but the worst thing about all this is we went ahead and got Chloe and said, okay, we'll take her to chill the anxiety in Charlie. Now it's just double anxiety.
They both stare out the window like for
It's
it.
horrible. They're staring out the windows. We set up one of our phones. We both have extra phones, so we set one up and, do like a FaceTime or whatever to see them. And they're both crying,
oh.
aggravated the entire time we're gone. So it didn't help anything except for having someone else to love on the truck. That's
Well,
it.
that's a plus.
Yes,
They're both adorable. They're so pretty.
they are. They're good.
We're very thankful that Highfield allows them to be on the truck with us.
Yes.
We love pets just as much as the next person. We really, really do. But speaking of pets, do you find it hard to have pets on the truck, or is it something that you wouldn't think twice about, that you've got to have them?
Honestly, we didn't have pets at home.
No.
Okay.
So when we came out here, we decided we wanted a dog. And that's when we went and found Charlie. He was only 3 months old when we got him. I originally was going to wait 6 months just to get out here, get a routine, get a feel for things, and because it's all brand new. Trucking
Yeah.
in general, moving the freight, driving across the country, dealing with truck stops and things. I told her, I said, let's wait 6 months. And then come the time, it was ready to go to moving day up in Columbus and pick up the
The
truck.
day before.
Day before, we were sitting at the house a lot, getting our nails and pedicure. And
His pedicure.
not ashamed to admit it.
Absolutely.
Sitting there, and I just happened to pull up the puppy store across the street, and I found Charlie and his sister. Well, his sister was spoken before, and we ended up going over there and picking him up the next day before we moved with the truck. So for us, for Charlie, he doesn't know any different. So life on the road for him is grand. Chloe, I guess she's adapted pretty well. I don't know, how she did before
We don't even know how long the lady had her.
with the other lady on the truck. She had.
Gotcha.
Supposedly she's 2 years old. We don't know that for sure, but we did send a DNA off on a
Yeah, DNA on both of them.
Malamute Husky Shepherd. So, but no, we don't have any issues with the puppies on the truck. I will tell you the only issue that I can see with the dog on the truck is they want to pull at the windows, knock the windows down, maybe jump out, run away.
Yes.
And they'll get up in the dash and they'll start jumping around and they'll lean on the horn. So they're they're like walking away, not the air horn, but they'll definitely wake up your neighbor at the truck stop if you're not careful.
Charlie has done it quite a bit before we got Chloe. And other truckers will just look over and they just start laughing. And the first time Charlie did it, though, I was in the back of the truck. I don't know what I was doing. And Charlie was up front. And Chris called me and said, why do you keep honking the horn? I'm like, I'm not. And he was like, well, why is our horn honking? And Charlie's up there. I thought it was the truck next to us. So Charlie,
That's
every time we
funny.
get out of the truck, he'll honk it. Like, where are you going without me? That's the biggest issue, I think. And it's easy to get them around to the vet. We use Banfield at PetSmart.
They're nationwide.
They're nationwide. So, and their system with all their pets are nationwide, which
Okay.
works. So that is helpful to have a pet store to go to or a vet.
Rather than having a local vet, you got to get home and get the dog checked out.
Yeah. That's
Right, right. Well, you have to promise me the next time that he's up there and he's on the horn and he's doing that, you have to get video of that and send that to me, because that would make an amazing short video to put out on Highfield.
Right. We will do our best.
Oh, that's awesome. So, since you've been out about 8 months or so, what are some of your favorite places that you've been while being on the truck? What are some of your favorite places to drive to?
California's nice. I know a lot of truckers, they don't like going to California or New York. We're in New York right now. for whatever reasons, whether it be the fuel cost, the traffic, the rules of the road, the speed limits, whatever it may be. As far as the sights, we like California. It's rolling hills and the mountains. New York is the same way. Upstate New York, if you get up there on the
Yeah.
Canadian border. Utah, it's beautiful out there.
Montana.
Montana.
That's my new favorite spot, Montana.
There's not much to see in Kansas. Kansas is pretty flat, straight. Drive out there.
I've been to Kansas.
Yes.
We live in Florida, so we're not too keen on. A lot of people like to get down to Florida and check it out, see if they want to retire down there. I like Tennessee myself as far as retirement.
That's where me and Don lived, was Tennessee, before we moved here to Ohio we lived in Knoxville.
That's enough.
What part of Florida are you from?
From Tampa and St. Pete, Tampa Bay area.
Okay.
Keep area.
Middle Central State, about an hour west of Orlando.
I know it all too well. I was born in Florida, was raised there as a kid, moved to North Carolina when I was 7. So I kind of consider North Carolina my home because that's where I grew up. But I did move back to Florida. I lived in Orlando and Kissimmee area for probably about 5 years, and spent a lot of time down in Tampa, St. Pete area.
Grew up in Jersey. I spent 18 years up there and the rest of my time in Florida. So before trucking, though, I'll tell you, I never got past. I was in the Navy back in 2001, about the time 9/11 happened, in Great Lakes, Illinois. That's as far as Midwest that I had ever got. I went up and saw Niagara Falls in my younger years from the New York side, not Canadian side. Here and just be on the road and get out to California. I think there's a few states that we haven't hit, like Washington State, Vermont, Maine. And then there's a few we haven't got.
We'll get there.
Yeah, you will.
Fargo, North Dakota. I don't think we've been through South Dakota. So there's a few we'd like to hit yet on our bucket list.
I always enjoyed going to California. I think my favorite state to drive through was going west on I-70 just past Denver. That was just absolutely beautiful driving through the mountains. I hated going through there in the wintertime. I would avoid it like the plague, but
I concur.
love going through there during the summer. It's beautiful.
Yes.
This year, coming out in December, the worst snow we hit was actually in Memphis.
Wow.
That was we were driving on the side roads to get where we needed to go, and there was little
It was like
ice
Still
covering the
driving.
entire road.
Back then just kind of gets away from you, and you got to really just take it easy,
So it was like
finesse it.
the ice we came into wasn't so much snow there.
That was a concern coming out, driving in the snow and the ice. I mean, I grew up in Jersey. My birthday's in August, so I got my license. I was driving in the snow shortly after.
I'm a Florida girl. My tires never had anything but straight black pavement. And so,
Right.
so I was kind of scared and nervous to know what to expect. But I remember one day I texted Tim and Melissa and I said, I really don't want to go there because it's going to be snowing. I don't know who texted back but somebody texted back, you need to grow up or something, get your big girl panties on. You'll be fine. Everything's good. So, like, literally 3 days later, we went there, and I drove through a whiteout. First time.
Oh, wow.
It literally was snowing everywhere. It was horrible. I was scared. I woke him up. I was like, you're not allowed to sleep. You have to get up with me. This snow is horrible.
That was a
And then I texted Tim and Melissa and let them know, and they were like, congratulations, I'm leveling up. Thanks. Finally made it. But it's something that, I mean, that has to be considered too, because I kept telling him, I'm not starting a trucking job in December.
We're going to stay in the southeast region, we're not
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
out of the northeast and out of the mountains.
But we did. It worked out. And I made it through my first season of snow, ice, sleet, bad conditions. And I drove slow and I prayed and I was like, I'll make it. It's fine.
Also, coming from Florida, it's pretty flat down there. So coming through the Tennessee
Right.
mountains, hitting that 6% grade, you're going,
Yeah.
it's a little nerve wracking and an experience to,
But never get too confident.
no,
Absolutely.
Never.
Yep.
not at all.
Mhm.
We absolutely put safety 100% at the forefront. We want you guys to be safe. We preach that right along with the carriers. You know, our Highfield's policy is we don't want anybody chaining a truck. If you get
Right.
somewhere where there's a chain law, we want you to park it. We want you to be safe. So, yeah. I mean, you're going to experience some adverse weather at times, and we just want
Right.
you to be cautious and slow down and take it easy. And if you have to stop, call the carrier, let them know, and pull over and stop at a safe place.
Yeah, we did that quite a few times in the winter snow and ice. I would call them like, it's snowing and I need a little more time to get there because I'm going 30 miles an hour right now.
Yep.
And they were like, okay, your safety comes first and push it back and everything's fine.
And also, like Tim and Melissa told us, they said, you know, if you just slow down, you go, even if you're going 15, 20 mile an hour and you just creep through that stuff, it's just like a rain dance. You're going to be through it in no time.
You know, relax.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to run 60, 65 miles an hour and haul butt down the highway in the rain and the snow. You just back her down and you take your time to get through it. Next thing you know, it's behind you and you're smooth sailing through
We're
it.
just 100% facts. It really is. Because you can be in a whiteout for 10 minutes and then everything's clear. And the next minute, you know, all of a sudden it was like that somewhere in California. I was in the snow, freaking out. All of a sudden it was just a little rain and then sunshine. Just keep moving. Even if you're going slow, keep moving and because it's fun.
You are correct. Well, is there anything about expediting that has surprised you or caught you off guard that you weren't expecting, that you thought, but was totally different what you were thinking?
I think so, not for me.
I think maybe one of the things for me is it's more of like an LTL. You don't fill that box up. You might pick up one
Yeah.
or two pallets. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you can get up to 10 or 12 pallets in there. But the chances that, you know, I think that for me is the surprise me is you're not hauling the whole truckload. But then again, I'm not from trucking, so I don't
Gotcha.
know how to compare it with. But, and again, watching the YouTube videos, you know, that definitely helps get you prepared and kind of understand. A lot of people like your no-touch freight, drop and hook. Well, we don't drop and hook because we don't have a trailer. We have a straight truck with a box, and here's a little bit of hands-on. You're going to be out there, you know, loading and unloading. Not necessarily loading and unloading, but once it's loaded, you're going to get in the back and secure it with your load bars and your straps and make sure, which I prefer because as the driver going down the road, you know, we want to make sure our freight's secure and safe rather than have
Exactly.
somebody else maybe mess something up and you end up losing a load or damaging freight, you know. So I like the fact that we can get back here and secure it ourselves. It's not hard work.
Because it doesn't feel like work.
No, it really doesn't. You know, I was always told that if you find something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. We're out here.
I believe that.
How do you call this work? And we're getting paid to do it.
I spent 14 years on the road with FedEx Custom Critical, and I tell you, I still miss it today.
Get back on a truck.
No, no, no. I do miss it. I do miss it. I do miss going to some places and just being out there on the open road, but I do enjoy the home life too. I'm happy to be home now.
Yeah, I get that.
I put my 14 years in. I'm done.
That's long enough.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to throw out there for new drivers coming into the industry or anything that we haven't talked about?
Talked a lot. Just do your research. It's very important. Make sure that you are understanding what it is because there's a lot of things to get used to. For probably the first couple of months, I had high hopes. I was going to cook all the time and, you know, keep everything 100% clean and in the right order. It's not going to happen. Unconventional things happen. However, I was worried about cooking on the truck. I wasn't used to a small space to cook it. So I wasn't sure. I was scared to touch raw chicken on the truck. You know what I mean? It was different
Yep.
things that I was going through. Know that you're going to have unexpected things happening. Not only that, there's a lot of different adjustments that not only do we have to make with like our attitudes, but the way we actually are living on the truck. Things that you're used to at home, you're not necessarily going to have 100% here.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared and open-minded that you're going to have to work through the different adjustments and processes until you reach the point where I get it. I understand it. This is great. Because a lot of people are naysayers. They're like, how can you be happy in a truck driving around all the time? We are. 99% of the time, we're super happy. I'm super happy. I don't know about him. But it definitely takes adjustments. And people have to be open-minded to look at that and say, okay, give it at least 3 to 6 months before you say, this isn't going to work. You need to work through the battles, work through the problems, work through the issues, and figure it out. Because eventually it all comes together, and one day you wake up, you're doing something, you're like, got it. I got it.
It just clicks.
It just clicks, yeah. That's the number one advice I would give. Be prepared to make changes. That's a big one.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for all of the advice that you're giving to new people that are hoping to come out here into the industry, and just spending this time with me and letting our viewers learn a little bit more about you. And again, congrats on all your success so far.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I enjoyed being with you.
And thanks to everybody at Highfield.
Bye, Hyfield.
We appreciate everything y'all do.
Yes.
From Delina and Mel or Melissa and
everybody.
The front, and then Vince and Mel getting you in your trucks, and then you've got Kelly and Kayla and fleet support. They're there. They're when their mentors are not available. Jimmy and Don and Donnie.
You're going to top it. Everybody at Highfield is great.
Everybody, from mentors down to our Highfield family.
Yeah.
You know, you run into somebody at the truck stops and break bread with them. It's like running into an old cousin across the country, and you just sit down, have a meal, and a nice conversation, and it's really nice to be thought about.
That's another thing is when you're on the road, you get to see family. I might get teary-eyed. I am.
You're allowed.
You get to see people that you haven't. And you get to visit with them and love them and hug them. And it might have been years since you've seen them.
Otherwise, you're at home, you get caught up in your everyday life, and you just don't have the time and the money to go visit.
Right.
And now we're out here, and hey, let's go pop in and, you know, see my sister, see your aunt, or
my cousin that I hadn't seen in like 15 years. Because neither one of us could get away from our work and our lives in our solitary, whatever it's called, solid space to go and visit. And, you know, that's one of the biggest perks is being able to go and say, oh, we did a load there. Oh my gosh, this is who's theirs. Let's go see them. So that's another thing. I wanted to throw that in there real quick, just so that I could cry.
Definitely. God, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you did, because that's a very, very good point to make. There was many a family member that I got to spend time with that, like you said, I normally wouldn't have been able to see if it hadn't have been for expediting. So
yeah,
you're very, very right on that.
It's a great thing.
And now that you're home, you have to spend the time and the money to go visit.
You're right. I do.
But he did this for 14 years, so he's got stats.
That's true. That's true.
Well, well. Oh, awesome. Guys, thank you again. I really, really can't thank you enough. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jerry. We appreciate it.
All right.
Bye-bye.